Myself to the stage. I've got to add myself here. Hey, all of you passionate plant people, garden enthusiasts, welcome to just kind of a fun little hangout here on the Urban Gardener channel, the Let's Get Growing show, Saturday show. We are what? Saturday Live is what I called it, the Urban Gardener. Enoch Graham here. I'm your host. We're just kind of having some fun today, hanging out like we did last week. It was really kind of fun, kind of brought me back to the old days when I was doing a lot of this type of solo live streaming. When I was first doing live streaming, boy, this would be because we're now what, fourth season of the Let's Get Growing show. So it would have been, I would say, 2 to 3 years prior to that. I was doing some off and on live streaming at first, and then established a Wednesday evening show that I called Wednesdays Lives. Wednesday Live on the Urban Gardener channel, and it was just me hanging out with everybody and talking about whatever anybody wanted to bring up. I mean, we're just kind of open in a sense. This is a gardening channel. We can talk about all sorts of gardening stuff. I mean, I'd really love to hear about all things that you've got growing on out in your gardens and all of that. So, I mean, that's one of the things we want to do, here. But almost anything else as well too, because it was one of the things I was thinking about just a little bit ago, because I've had a few people kind of ask me, because I get asked like, what do you do and this sort of thing, and I'll explain to them that I host this really fun little gardening live show on the weekends. And I try to, kind of describe it to people and everything. And when I describe it, I really try to emphasize that it more so than, because it was really, really the idea to begin with, but more so than one of, a live stream where you've got some really knowledgeable master gardener, because that's not what you're getting with me. I'm sorry. I think we've come to know this. I love gardening. I know quite a bit and everything, but in no way, do I compare to some of these just amazing, awesome gardeners that we get to have on this show, who just spill out all this amazing knowledge onto us. You know what I mean? And I can tell you a little bit about some of the things that I grow, what I've done, this and that. I've got a handful of knowledge. But ultimately, this show was really developed to be a gardening people show. The people of the gardening community of, this whole larger worldwide gardening community that we have, that I discovered when I first started growing my own food years ago. It was really, just kind of a whim of a thing, that kind of happened. I've told the story before, for those of you who know it, but those of you who don't know, I mean, I just was given and gifted a little cucumber start, probably, I would say, back in 2009 maybe, or something like that. I got gifted this cucumber start. I was living up in the Seattle area in Washington State, and living in an apartment, and I had lots of plants, just like I have here. I always have lots of plants. I've had throughout my adulthood and childhood even. I always, took around certain plants with me and everything, but I'd never really grown my own food or had an outdoor garden. I'd had some connections with a few of them. I got to see them. I got to, I never really took any time to understand them too much or anything like that. I did really just enjoy the indoor plants, easy indoor plants too, that I could easily take care of. But I had a friend who, knew I liked plants and everything. And for some reason he came across or ended up getting a hold of this cucumber start. He didn't know what to do with it. So he figured he'd give it to me because he figured I'd know what to do with it. And I mean, really, I guess he was right, ultimately. But, I took it on. I was like, I've never grown a cucumber. I've never grown anything for food or something that you would eat, So for me, I thought, okay, this is gonna be an interesting challenge, and really just one plant. I figured, okay, we could try to do this out on the balcony. I went and got it a big plant pot. I had, I already had pots and soil for all of the indoor plants that I have. So I just basically used all of that, just put it in a big pot, set it out onto the balcony, and went ahead, made sure that it was watered, and watched it grow and take over my whole balcony and produce these just really amazing cucumbers that my daughter and I ate one day. And it just kind of there was like a bell, or just this, it clicked, like, I need to be growing my own food. I need to be figuring this out, because she enjoyed them. She couldn't believe I actually grew them. And so that was kind of that whole thing, getting all of this started. But I soon, right after that, YouTube is just really starting to become a really big thing. And a lot of YouTubers out there, a lot of folks doing stuff and figuring out how to use it and get out there, and they were sharing things. And there were a lot of really cool people, a handful of really awesome people who were sharing and putting out a lot of content, getting a lot of views. And so it was the stuff I was seeing from a lot of really great people, and started getting into the comments and started learning more and wanting to learn more as I was, planting tomatoes and carrots and lettuces and just going crazy with anything and everything that I could find, on this little balcony, until I moved here and I was able to expand my space. And then I really went crazy. But all through this process, I found and met all these people online and through YouTube, and this big, large, wider gardening community that was out there. And it was really kind of transformative. I've talked about how there were other things leading through this process as I was moving and coming through those first few years of learning how to grow and garden and all of that, where, I started learning how much it was really affecting my life, because I was having a hard time with some other things, family and loss issues and stuff like that, lots of things going on. So I really kind of looked at it like, wow, what this hobby, as you will, at that time, turning into a lifestyle, basically, because it became my life. I was just, became obsessed in a way, but yet in this really great way, because it really did kind of, do a lot of things. I talked a couple of weeks ago on the show with one of our guests about how, during those times, my garden could be really isolating, but in a good way for me, because it gave me this connection. I was able to work through some things and all that sort of stuff. But it also too, because, I wanted to find more space, because I only, got so much going on here, and I hadn't really thought about expanding to some other stuff. But I went out in search of, through some recommendations and things and videos I was watching and seeing from others out in the gardening community. And I went and found a community garden local to me, and then I went out and I started meeting people locally in my community who are gardeners, and learning all of this sort of stuff, and getting out there and doing things and connecting. And then, it's just this whole larger thing. And the whole point of this big, long introductory story here today is really just kind of say that, not only was it the garden that helped me through a lot of stuff, and not only that, you get the bonus of all the great food and the fun and the enjoyment of gardening and all that sort of stuff, but it really was effectual and transformative within my life at the time that I was going through. That cucumber plant came in at the right time. I mean, you want to talk about, like, these divine interventions of things that go on in your life that you kind of really wonder about sometimes, right? It really kind of think about, well, how these certain things lead to certain other things. I have a few other things in my life that are similar, in other stories and stuff that are just make me wonder sometimes about stuff, And yeah, the cucumber plant showed up just in time. It helped me get through all of this thing and led me to this whole other life, in a way, right? And all these other wonderful people who now became a part of my life, through this process. And to me, I just, the garden community and the people within it, and again too, as I started taking on this project early on, the starting the channel and doing that sort of stuff, people were so always nice and welcoming, and just, as no matter what project I wanted to do or how I wanted to work on things, I was always finding these just amazing people who were just really just so willing to share and let me be a part of what they're doing, while letting me do certain things. We go into some of those early visit videos where I go out and I visit these cool projects, other gardeners donors and organizations and different things like that. It was just how welcoming people were through all of this process and everything. So really, when it comes to this show and the idea of what this show really is ultimately, is that it's a show that I wanted to kind of do for the gardening community, a gardening community show in a way, where we're talking about people, where we've got these people from the gardening community who are out there sharing, and you know, these other folks with their own social media, YouTube, writing books, and you know, whether they do their own radio or television shows, or all sorts of just these amazing gardening communicators from all around the world who are sharing all of this massive amount of knowledge about gardening. There's so much knowledge about gardening out there that I was thinking at the beginning when I wanted to start this show that I didn't want that to be the main focus ultimately. You know what I mean? The main focus was going to be the people of the gardening community. And then along the way, I knew really, you know, I knew along the way in this process that there's going to be a ton of knowledge that was going to be shared anyways. It's like a residual you get from this amazing conversation with these people in the, you know, wider, larger gardening community around the world. I mean, we've talked with people from all over the world on this show throughout the last few years, and got to learn about so many amazing gardening stories and talk to so many amazing people, you know, and that's why we try to get a wide array of people too, and always trying to bring on new people. And, you know, of course, we're getting people back who've brought great voices and shared really amazing things with us throughout the few years, you know, that we've been doing the show. But you know, it's really, I want to bring more and more people. You know, that's why we expanded to the Sunday show when we did that, and then we expanded to the Green Room. You know, when we did that this year, you know, is to open up what we're doing here on this show to a larger, wider conversation with more and more people, so that we can really, you know, really share the people of the gardening community. And then the great thing about that, though, is that we get all of you along with us for the ride. You know, these amazing people who come here and hang out with us and take part in this show week after week. So, you know, of course, you know, this isn't really an official show necessarily, but I'll go ahead and throw this up here, though, too, you know, because we definitely want to, you know, get at the top of the show for everybody, you know, hit the like button if you're here and you enjoy this type of content and you enjoy these type of conversations. Definitely, if you're new and you're just coming in and you're checking this out and you're just finding our channel and everything, definitely subscribe for more shows down the road as we're working on booking and getting things together, back together again. That's kind of what we're at. We're in this kind of, you know, it just kind of happened. You know, we had a little bit last year. It was due to a storm last year. I mean, this year was a storm of another sort, not a real storm, but you know, but we got kind of a lull in our schedule a little bit right now. So that's kind of why I'm doing these Saturday shows right now, for just kind of hanging out and seeing everybody here and all of that, you know, and seeing how you guys are doing, and just really trying to be here, make sure, you know, it's we've had to in the last couple of weeks, you know, kind of put a, you know, actually cancel some shows and not have any thing going on in this space and time that I like to make sure is open and available. We do during any time that there isn't any host or anybody to be here on the show, we always leave the chat open so that you can come and hang out during this 2-hour space of time with the people here within our community, and chat and do all that sort of stuff as well too. So we always make sure that there's something available here during this time period, which is again every Saturday and Sunday, 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern. And the Green Room with our wonderful, amazing co-host Natalie, the Fresh Princess, on Monday evening, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. You want to definitely come and check those shows out. I'm still working on, I have an idea in communication going on right now still, which kind of surprised me the other day too, because I kind of thought I had something and then I'm not sure. We're gonna figure something out for Monday night. Again, it's just it's a rough time on the schedule, but everything's going to be coming back together. I do got a lot of things cooking, and there's a lot of stuff going on out there. It's just one of those things too, where, even though I'm working and trying to fill out certain spots at this time, it's hard to get this time. I can get a lot of folks who want to this other time or this split this time here, and so we're just moving people and trying, juggling around the schedule and getting people fit in. And we've got a few people who are lined up, set to do some shows, in the next few weeks and all of that. But for now, we're just gonna have to hang out. I hope that's okay. I hope you guys are all great. Thank you so much for being here as well too. I just really, really appreciate you for being here with us live, and I also appreciate all of our folks who are watching us on the replay. That's right, Team Replay. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And if you're here with me as well too, again, same thing, hit the like button, all that sort of stuff, but definitely drop into the comment section and let me know you're here. Let me know where you're growing from, what you've got growing on in your gardens, all of that sort of stuff. I want to hear from you, even if you just want to drop in and say hi. I definitely love seeing the comments from all of the replay viewers who are out there. And so definitely at least jump in and say hello. I love hearing from you. Thank you so much. And right on. Excellent, too. You can join in the conversation right now, too. I see there's already tons of comments. I got to start digging through here in just a moment. I just want to talk about a couple of things first, and then I kind of got onto that tangent there, telling that little story there at the beginning, but I don't even know if I really made a point or not. I think there was something in there for sure. But ultimately, again, just this is amazing. A thing for me, this opportunity I get every weekend to come and hang out with all of you and to again take part in all these really amazing gardening conversations and learn about all these garden stories, from not only all of our guests but all of you who have joined in the conversation and shared so much throughout all of the shows. I really appreciate all of you who really do just do an amazing conversation on the side. Sometimes it's really something to be able to try to keep up with the conversation that I'm having with our guests, and also keep up with the conversation that you all are having, not only with the show but with each other as well too. I mean, it's just really, really amazing. I'm so fortunate to be able to do this, at this time. So that's why, again, too, even if we ain't got anything together, I just really love just to be able to come and hang out with you all and all of that. So again, this is a people show. This is a show about the gardening people, and you guys are just really amazing. So again, thank you for all of your participation and everything as well too. All right. I did want to mention, let's see here. Let's see if I can find this real quick here. Tomorrow's show, because I was mentioning Monday's show, still kind of trying to figure out. I do have a guest who is, I'm pretty sure I'm going to talk this guest into it, I hopefully. And then we'll figure that out. We'll get it done. And it'll be a regular, great show, just kind of put together last minute again, as I'm trying to work and get some things together on the show. And hopefully things will start snowballing into the future. We'll get some, we'll get back on top of our booking schedule and all of that. But I did want to mention what we got going on tomorrow as well too. Tomorrow's show is going to be really, really fantastic. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss out. You got to come and join with us. Our friend David from Bowtie Life is at the Baker Creek Spring Planting Festival over in Mansfield, Missouri. Yes, that's right. He packed up all of his gear and all of his live streaming gear and all of that. Him and Mrs. Bowtie loaded it up, hopped in the vehicle, and took a nice long travel from Destin, Florida, all the way over to Mansfield, Missouri. And they're setting up, getting everything done. They're going to get up nice, bright and early tomorrow, get everything all together to start some live streaming, starting over on their channel, I believe, a couple of hours before we get started here on our show. So if we're starting 11 a.m. Pacific, that's going to be 9 a.m. Pacific. which would be noon Eastern. I would say maybe I'm sure there's information for sure. I'm sure Bowtie will probably be in the conversation. I haven't checked yet. I'm sorry. I'll be in the conversation in just a second. But he may have already shared that information. But if not, can definitely let you know. Absolutely, for sure. But yeah, they're going to be live streaming from Bowtie Live channel. And then they're going to be jumping over here onto our show tomorrow. Again, regular time, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. And they've lined up a really amazing guest for us to get started. If we get everything going right, we're just going to have to, from what I understand, kind of jump right into it tomorrow. So we're going to get on to that because, I mean, David is just, and Mrs. Bowtie, I mean, just really amazing work, you know, and all of this stuff. I really have to put a huge shout out to them and again, just all of the, you know, he's been emailing me and telling me and keeping me informed and all that sort of stuff. I've been busy as all get out, and he's out doing all of this really amazing stuff and getting things lined up for us for hopefully a really great show. Every connections work right. We know how these live type of you know, at events or, you know, outdoors type of things can work sometimes. But looks like the, you know, people at Baker Creek are really putting their foots forward as well too, to make sure that there's a hopefully a really great connection for them. And so they should be set up and start having guests again at their channel a couple of hours before we get started here. So make sure you're jumping over to Bowtie Life. We've got links down below in this show right now, and I'm sure Jay will drop links, all that sort of stuff. Especially if they already got links set up for that for tomorrow, maybe we can get the specific ones out there. But yeah, you'll want to go check that out. They'll have really awesome guests set up and conversations and things going on, let you know all about what's going on around on the festival and all that sort of stuff too. Hopefully putting together some really cool stuff for us here. Oh, look at that. There we go. Jay's jumping that right up there on the screen right now. Yeah, David will be having 3 live streams at Baker Creek, morning and evening on his channel, and afternoon here. So yeah, so we'll get the specific information for you, or again, you can go and check all of that out as well too. At Bowtie Life. I've got a link under our contributor links down below in the description there. You'll see Bowtie's channel down there, because Bowtie is an amazing contributor. Not just Bowtie now too. I got to remember to say this as well too, because it's not just David, it's Mrs. Bowtie as well too. She's doing some really amazing stuff and really putting her foot forward and helping to take the Bowtie Life channel to a whole nother level too as well too. So we got to make sure we're giving her a big huge shout out as well too on all of that. But setting things up, and if everything works out all right first and foremost, again, from what I understand, we got to just jump kind of right into it, but we should be having P. Allen Smith with us. I mean, talk about an amazing booking. I thought I could do some pretty good booking for our channel myself. You know, we've had some pretty awesome guests and everything, but wow, to get P. Allen Smith for us as a featured guest right off the bat for our Baker Creek Spring Festival show, all the other sort of stuff too. So you'll have to stay tuned. Come join with us tomorrow for the show to see what else we have in store from you from Mansfield, Missouri. But one other thing I want to say before we move on from this here is that we got to also, like I was saying, give a big, huge shout out to Baker Creek Heirloom Seed Company. Big, huge fan of them. I have been for years. They're kind of like a family to me in a way, from the years I got to spend going to the National Heirloom Exposition down in California, to getting to know Jer and the whole Baker Creek family and everything over the years, all the really crazy, awesome things that they've done for me personally, and you know, for my show, the interviews Jer's done with me for over the years. I mean, each and every year he'd hang out with me and always make sure he did and gave me special time and everything. Helped us get this actual show launched as a featured guest. We're going to be hopefully getting him back on here again and him and Ryan hopefully together, back on together for a show down the road as well too. But just really amazing people over there at Baker Creek Heirloom Seed Company. But a big, huge shout out to Michelle Johnson, their media rep. Michelle has been doing some really great stuff, helping line up things and doing stuff in the background and all of that, and helping Bowtie David and everything set up for putting together a really cool setup for not only, again, our channel here and what we're going to do tomorrow for our spring planting festival show, but also for Bowtie Life channel and what they're going to be doing there for both of their shows before and after our show as well too. Michelle Johnson, media rep, Baker Creek Heirloom Seed Company, just really amazing work. Thank you so much for, again too, this is just help letting us throw something together and being a part of it. And they've always been great to me over the years, and just really, really appreciate them helping out David and getting everything really great and set up for him so that they can have some really great content for not only us, but their channel as well too. So thank you, Baker Creek, for all that you've done for our show tomorrow. And again, everybody, remember, come and join us. Baker Creek Spring Planting Festival live in Mansfield, Missouri. We've got David and Mrs. Bowtie Life joining with us. So come and join us then too. All right, so let's do this. We're just hanging out today, and I'm going to be hanging out with you, and I'm going to just kind of dig through here. And I see there's already a ton of conversation, and I'm going to try to make it through this. Let's see if we could do this like I did last time here, and make it to the bottom of the conversation. So I apologize to folks. I am going back to the beginning real quick here because I want to make sure I'm not missing out on anything, but I'm going to try to swing through it and see if I could get us down to the current conversation. And we do have hopefully our good friend Jay keeping an eye on our current conversation. And if anything relevant, Jay will pop that up on screen for me to see, I'm sure. So let's see here. So that's what we're going to do too. Let's see here. First thing I see is our good friend Jay, the J-Bot, joining us backstage, facilitator, producer, all around. J-Bot doing all sorts of crazy, amazing things, sharing links for all these really great, channels like Bowtie Life and what they got going on tomorrow and all that sort of stuff. But your channel, if you got a small gardening channel as well, but links to information during conversations we're having, expanding on information and topics and different things like that as well too. She does an amazing job facilitating, joining us also from Midwestern Ontario in the lee of Lake Huron. And then also join us from all the way over in the UK. We've got Rob from Rob's Allotment Gardening, Rob's Attic. And I don't know, is it going to be Rob's Attic now for sure, or is it still Rob's Allotment Gardening? I'd have to. They do these things with our handles now versus our channel names, which I don't really like, but that's the way it is now, I guess. So Rob's with us, joining us from over in the UK. And he says, all just came in from a day in the back garden, hanging out in the back garden today. Right on. It's evening time for our good friend Rob over in the UK. So he's already spent a day out there in his garden. Some of you are already well into your day gardening. Some of you may be just kind of getting started with your day gardening. We got Pac-Man 257 raining here in North Florida. Getting some rain in North Florida. Excellent. Thanks, Pac-Man, for being here. It's great to have you here joining us on the show. Ooh, our good friend Emmanuel Arce, the ultimate gardener. We got to get Emmanuel back on the show sometime. That's what we'll have to do. I'm going to try to reach out, maybe get him back on some way or somehow. Maybe get him on the Monday show or something if we can. We haven't seen him for a little while. But he's our young gardener over there in Florida doing some really cool stuff with his gardening and everything. So if you get a chance, go check out The Ultimate Gardener. Go give him a subscribe. Methydicus Alberiticus. Hey, big wave back to you too, man. Thank you for being here. Great to see you. We've got Sean the Gardener saying hi, everyone. Joining us from Cornwall in England. Awesome, awesome. In the UK. Amazing to have you here with us. Thanks, Sean. Always great to see you. Sean says, onions, and parsnips and dahlias. That's amazing. That's amazing. Be on soon, filling water barrels with all the rain coming down right now. Oh, so you're getting some good rain like our friend Pac-Man was. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Hey, John Harrell joining with us in the conversation. Thanks, John, for hanging out with us. Thanks for being here. It's great to see you here with us. And again, hopefully you're still here, I suppose. We're I'm just rolling through our conversation here. Meg's Edible Gardens here joining with us too, or Edible Landscapes, sorry. And our good friend Adam, he's joining us just right up the road from me here in Central Point, Oregon, listening in today while taming my neglected lawn. Yeah, tell me about it. I've been working on that too myself. Things are looking better out there, but it was neglected for a while. I had some work to do taming mine down for sure, but so much better after you get it done. That's for sure. Made it. Yes, you made it, Wickershire. Thanks for being here. Awesome to have you, man. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us here. Let's go. Let's grow. That's right. Dusty Flats. Yo. What's going on, my man? What's happening? Wave back. Wickershire Project, Dusty Flats. All you awesome people. I love seeing these names from folks just every single weekend. Just amazing support. Just love it. It's amazing. It's great. We're just hanging out today, and it's great to have you here again too. You got any questions or anything like that too? Drop in some questions. You can ask me anything you want to today. Today's kind of one of those just open days. Got any questions? I know I say that all the time. So hopefully we can someday we'll talk you into some good questions. Let's see here. What do we got? You two gardeners are some of the best people you will ever meet. That's right. Absolutely. That's right. Sean says, loads of water stock now. Must be really coming down good then. Yeah. Here we go. Farmer Marshall. Finally got some rain here in 8A, Georgia. Both of my IBC rain totes are now full. That's awesome. There you go. Got some good, nice sized totes. Get a good amount of rain to hold on to. That's awesome. Farmer Marshall, thank you so much for being here. I say we got to get Farmer Marshall back on too, like I was saying about Emmanuel. Get you guys on my Monday show. Let's do it. You guys got, let's see here. I'll have to. Wickershire, I'm Scouting Enoch, looking for unique gardeners doing their thing. Trying not to be overbearing and pushy. Just a quick, hey, should you do a quick talk on the urban gardener and share? Oh, yeah, there you go. Get them over here. Get them on over here. That's right. Shawnee Grows, another one of our contributors. Grow What You Eat on Mondays. I have completed the potting mission. Indoor grow station is full. Huzzah. Yes. Excellent. That's right. Yeah. Shawnee was on our Monday evening, the green room, as a guest as well, too, a couple of weeks back. So, yeah, you have to go back and check that out as well, too, if you haven't. Let's see here. Pac-Man says Oxheart Gardening would be a great guest. Well, she would be. In fact, she has been. We've had Oxheart on a couple of times on the show, and I've reached out to her. We are trying to work on a date, hopefully coming up here not too long from now as well, too. So, yeah. we definitely love a conversation with her. I remember watching her channel when she was first getting started, and I love to see that she still keeps on going, still does an amazing job with her consistency, just really putting out really good content. You know, you want to learn about some good gardening and all that, you definitely check out Oxheart channel, Oxheart Gardening. Shawnee grows. I can now direct sow parsnips, beets, and radish. I must evict some grasses in my food forest island, but introducing my potato fork to it. There you go. Get those grasses out, replace them with some good stuff. I see we got our friend Darth X in there. Yeah, that's right. Darth, it's always great to see you in our conversation. Thank you so much for being here. Farmer Marshall planted 8 fruit trees this year. I added my own compost to them, and now I have 12 tomato plants surrounding one of the trees. Oops. Yeah. See what you can get from those, though. Might not be a very bad oops, right? Let's see here. Wickershire says 7A Tennessee, sweet corn, bush beans, early summer zucchinis, 40 plus herbs, many sunflower, peas, pumpkins, squash, apples. Wow, here we go. I got 2 shut up cucumbers, peppers, many varieties, and tomatoes, many varieties. Lots of great stuff. You're well onto it. Good stuff. Like Darth X says, yeah, volunteer tomatoes are nice. Love the volunteers. I got to get on top of it for a space I have to make sure that they can get through the mess that's over there. I'm going to try to clean it up a little bit for where all of my volunteer tomatoes come through, because they should be starting to pop up here for us. Let's see here. Working our way through here. Again, great to have all of you here with us today. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yep, Jay put a link in earlier too. Then awesome. Baker Creek. We finally made it. Go check out Bowtie Live channel for sure. Rob says, I think a good guest would be Sean the Gardener in Ecology Today. Yeah. I think when Sean says, not up to it yet, LOL. Oh, come on, you can do it. Come join us. I think we might, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, I think we might be doing a community show next week, and it's always a good way to get yourself jumped into some live streaming. So come on and join us. Your good friend Joe there, Cornwall, as well too. Muddy Puddles. That's how she did it. Just came on for a quick little visit on a community show. Now she's big time live streaming, doing some great stuff over there. That's one thing I love. I have actually, so I try not to think of it as like a little, I don't like as being pushy too much, as I'll tell you sometimes when it comes to booking and getting folks. I have this really big channel, really big people. They just put out a book, and I was trying to invite them, like maybe to do our book club or something like that. And they're also too, and you'd be surprised how many some of the larger channels don't do live streaming, haven't done live streaming. That's something they're not used to or even comfortable with in some sorts. And I was just emailing this last week back and forth with this channel about all of this, and they were like, well, I don't know, we haven't done live streaming yet and all of that. And then I'm like, well, we kind of try to pride ourselves on being that kind of a great place and a great stepping stone for those who want to get started or even get comfortable with the idea of live streaming, because we're a nice, we're a small channel. We've got a nice audience of great people who are just amazingly awesome. The whole gardening community, that's what this is, a garden community show. The show is for you, that whole thing. And that's we make it a really great, easygoing, fun conversation, just talking about people and garden stories and what people grow and how they grow them and all that sort of stuff. Just real easygoing, and mentioned different um, reviews and things that I got from a few other larger channels that have been on the show that said some cool stuff about us and everything. And now I'm just waiting back to hear back if I kind of convinced them or not. I don't know, but we'll see. Sometimes folks just aren't up to it. I've reached out to several folks who've been out there who are like, it would be great, but we're just, just not that comfortable with it. And it does happen. But for the most part, a lot of folks do really enjoy it, and it is really fun, and it really is cool to connect with everybody else and to get to know your friends and put faces to names that we see. That's why we really love doing those community shows and all of that as well. Let's see here. John says, I'm still here. I just started joining the live streams in the chat. It's awesome to see some familiar names in other live streams. Yeah, see? And that's cool too, is that we build a kind of a community of live streamers too in the long run. And we all get to go around and check out each other's different channels and support each other and do different things and all of that too, which is also just some also really amazing kind of community building on itself as well too, in that larger, wider aspect, which is something I think is great about this channel or the show as well too. Let's see right here. Oh, a question. Awesome. Wickershire. Thank you. Have you pickled any of your grown peppers? I did. I'll tell you the story real quick. This is kind of fun. A friend of mine who's got, and I still kind of help him out. We're actually going to get out. Hopefully I'm going to find the time this week to get out this week with him and help him get some things going out in this front yard garden space. I did kind of a couple of videos a while back ago as we had all these big plans. We were going to do all this sort of stuff, but time constraints on both of our parts and certain things just kind of broke down the project that we were working on. But our idea first was to do these sort of pickled hot cherry peppers. You see these kind of pickled peppers you can buy out in the way. We wanted to do kind of our own version of those, and make our own kind of not only just the pickled peppers themselves, but to also utilize those to make a pickled kind of cool hot relish, pickle relish. And so our whole idea was to do this. This is something that was really popular over on the East Coast where he lived and all of that sort of stuff. So, where he grew up in the New England, Boston, Massachusetts area and that sort of stuff. So we set up the whole front yard things to grow out tons of these cherry pepper plants, and we grew tons and tons and tons, bucket loads and bucket loads of these cherry peppers. And that was about the part where things were just not like, we knew we weren't going to be able to, but we still did kind of decided that okay, well, we'll think about is continuing the project on that larger scale that we were thinking. Maybe we were too much right at first, right? So we were kind of like, well, let's take what we got and we'll kind of set up and pickle, and see what we can make and put together, with this idea and everything first. I mean, what a great idea, right? Do some these are just two guys who were thinking, oh, we could do this, but let's do some actual what do you call it, research, experimenting and researching and doing some of that sort of stuff first and making sure, we knew we could do it. We did kind of play around with some other stuff and some other products to, we were like, if we could at least grow the peppers and pickle the peppers, we're set. We can, everything else is good, because we did make some with some of these other grown pickled peppers and everything too. But it was still fun. We pickled a bunch up. I had some for a lot. They were in my fridge for quite a while as refrigerator pickled peppers that we had, and the pickled relish and everything we used and everything too. He really enjoyed it. We enjoyed it, but it never became that bigger, larger project that we wanted to do or thought ourselves to do and everything. But yeah, there was a whole bigger idea to it as well too. That's a bigger story. I should probably share on a bigger at a bigger or another time. But yeah, it was a fun time. It was still a fun project. We still did some stuff with it, but it never did become what we were hoping it for it to become. All right, like I said, I don't know if I'm ever going to get through this if I keep talking like this today. Jeez, when are we at? Okay, we got plenty of time still. We're still going. I keep thinking like it's later than it is already. Let's see here. John Harold says, loving the friendly chat. I miss some of other lives and other channels due to times, but I've started being able to catch some of these. Well, that's awesome, John. Again, too, you and I love to say is that we are here all about the gardening community, supporting, sharing, doing all that, as I've talked about, and all that sort of stuff too. But we do take a lot of pride in what we do here with the Let's Get Growing show, and we love to see you here and joining with us and checking out who we got coming up as far as live streams and all that sort of stuff, so we get moving through the season and all of that too. Because again, go back and check out some of the back catalog of old shows and different gardeners and people you might have known who've done content and things out there too as well too. We got lots and lots of those back in the catalog. So, but yeah, thanks for hanging out with us and joining with us as well too. It's just really great. Well, let's see here. Let's see, Wiggershire is saying Tennessee has also been blessed with a few days of rain, and all rain catchment is full and ready to hold us over. So much growing on, it makes me nervous. Yeah, that's awesome. The rain catchments though too, I mean, it's great. You've got good size ones. I still capture rain and still do that. Mine are just kind of smaller, and I go through my rain pretty fast, as it gets really hot around here pretty quickly. And once the rain stops here, it stops for months, and I go through my rain pretty quickly. So I could use, and I know I probably could, if I set some things up a little bit differently, get some bigger like IBC totes, or do some other things with some space that I've got in the back area that doesn't get used much because of where it's at and all of that. I think would be a good spot to put some of those bigger, and I think we're talking those big square type totes, right? But I probably even stack a couple of them on each other or something, and do some really great rain catchment in that sort of way too down the road. But yeah, so that we can hold on to more of it, so that we get a longer it takes us further into the hot season. But yeah, let's see here. Dusty Flat says forecasts are driving me bets. Had 26 Fahrenheit this morning, and looking ahead, May will struggle. Groundhog is fired. The groundhog lied to you, huh? Yeah, again, too, just some crazy stuff. Like I said, we had that crazy freeze here this last week, which just devastated a bunch of stuff out there, which is now finally, like the figs and everything, they're starting to extend out, put out some new leaves and new things that over the next few weeks should start showing and growing pretty good. One of the plants did really, really well, though. I was just really surprised. It wasn't, and it's one of my mystery varieties. I still got to figure out what variety it is. But for taking on that kind of cold weather at that point in time and keeping so many of the leaves without damage was just really pretty amazing. Dusty Flat says the grapes were frosted and probably really got hit this morning. Our gardens are tent city. Oh my. Yeah, my grapes got during that freeze too. That was another big part of the devastation. But they're popping out, growing out some new stuff now again. they're just a little behind, I guess, if you would say, but I'm sure they'll catch up and things will get growing. But yeah, it just sucks to get out in your garden and see that sort of damage and things going on and all that. Let's see. True fact. Wait, well, 6-7 weeks. We'll go to the damage. I'm not a good host right now. Oh yeah, that's right. Jay's been. That's why we haven't had a host to during some of those days where we didn't have anybody. Jay's been filling in on some of those, but still, even neither of us were able to. So, but like I said, we try to keep the chat open for all that sort of stuff. Orchestra says, my apple tree issue is this: third year tree, only 12 blossoms, 12 single apples, fattening up. Japanese beetles are underground and will wipe a tree out again soon. Yes, and you won the IV organics, all of that sort of stuff. Got the information out to them, so hopefully we'll get that stuff out to you real soon. Get that put on there and do the best we can to get into that for sure. So yeah, definitely. I hope that will help out with that sort of stuff. I've got to get some on mine as well too. Again, and my apples and all the fruit trees and everything because of that freeze. I was really, really worried, but it seems like they're still holding on to lots of great little applets and pearlets and peachlets that are coming up on our different trees. And there's even a little figlet that's coming off of the figs and stuff too. So even though the frost damage happened, they're holding on to fruit. So yeah, I'm gonna get some of that 3-in-1 Plant Guard on everything. Let's see here. So yeah, hello from Chicagoland. Robin Gardens potting on outside. Got some onions, celery, snapdragons put in. A resting body before I decide if I can do more. Yeah, I gotta get a little rest in there for sure. Do that. I love this. Rob says, if there's a community show next week, I might come on again. June will be away. Ooh, right on. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking we'll do. It's either that or I'm just going to come hang out or whatever. So I'm figuring I might as well this next time, just kind of set it up and let you all guys know this week. And we'll maybe do a community show this next week. Maybe we can talk John, come over and hang out on our community show as well, too. Tell us all about these pickled banana peppers. Did a bunch a few years ago. Yeah, banana peppers would have been was another idea too that we were kind of bringing into the whole thing. Was like this: we were going to start with these cherry peppers and do this relish type of thing, and then we were going to think, well, we expand out and have our brand do like these different types of pickled peppers and different types of relishes and heat levels. And we had this whole idea to do this whole different thing and doing some of the banana peppers and yeah, all that sort of stuff as well too. But yeah, did not come through. Maybe we'll get back into it again. I don't know. We're still working on that space and trying to figure out and doing different stuff. We grew a bunch of corn and squash and we did tomatoes and onions and different things like that last year and the year before as well. So we've been growing some things in there, but maybe we might revisit that idea again too. And yes, like Jay says, you heard it here. Get your questions ready and ask Rob what you want to know. That's right. That was a really great hangout, Rob. Really appreciate you. I know it took us a long while. We kept egging you on to come on and to come be a part of one of our community shows and all of that. But it was great. It was worth the wait to finally get to hang out with you on the show. And if you're going to come back and hang out on again, I am going to be really excited about that. And definitely, like Jay says, everybody get in and ask some questions. Rob is the onion guru. That's right, Darth X. Rob is the onion guru. Wickershire says 2 new bare root elderberries have been set, watered in. No faith in my soil to grow anything. We've had gooseberry, blueberry, raspberry die here and not make it. Oh, yikes. Have you been able to make any of them succeed though, or have you given up on those? Is what I would want to know. I gotta have blueberries, raspberries too. If I had a bigger piece of property, for sure, and I could really have like a place and do like raspberries, blackberries, and just kind of have them off somewhere doing their thing. Yeah, I would love to do that. Anna, thanks for joining us from Northumberland, UK. All of our UK folks in the house today, man. You all showing up for us. Thank you, Anna, for being here today. Maybe you can get to see you. Come and join with us next week for it. I guess we'll just kind of make it official. We're going to do a community show next Saturday. We'll just hang out together. I'll give you all the link to the show, and you can come on and come hang out with us and put the face to the name for everybody in the conversation. This is a chance for everybody in the chat to kind of meet each other, get to know each other, kind of like a call-in radio show. I'll give you the link to the show. You can jump on with your video and all of that. We'll have you on for a nice, fun little conversation right here, right on the Let's Get Growing show. So you get to be the guest. It's one of the things I love right there too. I was just that's great. And Wickershire is getting some questions in here too. I was goading questions. I think this is what brought this on for sure. Let's see here. Enoch, if you had the space, what is 1 or 2 veggies you wish to grow you currently do not have the space for? The space, in fact, well, I'm not, and I don't really have the space myself for, but we're going to try. Our neighbors are going to try and do some things here in the front area, and we're going to see how well it goes and all of that. But asparagus is a big one. I've been wanting to grow asparagus for a long time. I don't really have the space, the in-ground type of space, to let the roots grow and to do their thing and expand out and to do all of that. And it is, and I really wish I could, because it is a year, it takes a few years to really get some good asparagus going too. So, it's something you really want to get on if you're going to do it. But again, so that's what we're doing. They really want to do it. We're going to give it a try. We're going to do that up in that space over there too. So hopefully we will see some asparagus here locally in our yard, because I'm sure they'll share some with me, but asparagus is definitely one of the ones I've been wanting to grow for a long time. And another one is rhubarb. I'm telling you, I've been wanting to grow rhubarb for a long time, because that's one of those ones where, we talk about with a lot of guests here on the show, again, being a people show, we want to know about our guests' garden stories. We want to know about their background and what brought them to gardening, and a lot of times, and for a lot of folks, it's their grandparents or their parents, have shared the gardening story and all that sort of stuff with them. My grandmother, just a little bit, for a very, very short little bit of time, got to show me some things with her garden. I didn't learn or pay attention to like gardening skills or anything like that, but I did spend a little bit of time with my grandmother, and this was in Alaska, mind you, too. And she had a little greenhouse, and she would go in and she would do her tomatoes and do the different things inside of this greenhouse. But one of the great things that she grew, and just basically grew so well, and you wouldn't think it, but up in Alaska, was rhubarb. And she made the most amazing things with rhubarb. The rhubarb cobblers and all sorts of different amazing things that she did with rhubarb. So if I had the space and a place that I could specifically do and set up, I would do rhubarb and all of that. Rhubarb and asparagus. Hope that's a great answer to your question. Excellent. Let's see here. I was going to say, I was just getting into some questions too. That one. And are you mainly a hand water or mini irrigation type person? I own an Amazon cheapo solar drip for 30 pot dripper that needs an install ASAP. I would and want to expand. I have set up, and I do have timers and have set up kind of a water system, but I haven't gotten it tuned in just right. And maybe I'll kind of keep an eye to look at doing that this season as one of my projects to try to finish. But I do encourage, especially folks who live in warmer areas, small space gardeners, busy gardeners, people who have got things to do and things. I'm a very busy person and stuff. So, to kind of set up those things, especially again, to great thing, for uh, um, containers, pots, and things like that as well too, that are going to be one of the first things that are susceptible to drying out in your garden in that warmer time of the season. So if you can set up really cool little drip setups and get it all done on some timers and all of that, the key here though is that you've almost got to pay attention to these drippers and timers as much as you would in hand watering. It doesn't going to take as much time as hand watering is going to do, but you're going to want to be on the regular, keeping an eye on them and watching your different emitters, and watching your timers, making sure things are turning off and on right, and all of that as well too. Because I've also found too, with the system I had set up, it's not tuned in right, is that things can kind of not work quite as well in some spots as others, because certain things will come pop out, or all sorts of things can go awry. So you want to keep an eye on that sort of system for sure, is the big thing. But they're good to have, especially if you're busy, warm areas, containers, that sort of stuff. But I do ultimately, the answer, I guess, to the question though, is I am mainly a hand waterer. I do enjoy hand watering. I like getting out there and just hanging out in the garden, putting on a podcast in my ear, listening to another gardening live stream out there or something like that as well. I'll get out there and I'll just hand water, and it gives me a chance to keep an eye on the garden, specific plants and what's going on, any changes or anything like that as well too. So I do really like hand watering, especially for that part of the gardening experience, because we do want to keep an eye on things, and what better way to do that than to be on top of them hand watering, right? So that's the thing there though too. But I think a great mix of both of them in a way too. I've got some spaces where I can't go put drip emitters even if I set up the whole system, so there's some places where I'm still going to have to go and put or hand water versus putting drip systems into there. So a little mix of both, depending on the kind of spaces that you have, and all that as well too can work well as well though too. But the purpose, of hand watering big time for me is to keep an eye on the garden, to be able to kind of see things going on. Whereas with a drip system, you want to make sure that you are keeping an eye on the drip system itself, that it's doing its job, right? Okay, excellent. Great questions. Thank you, Wickershire. I don't know here. Let's get moving here. Like I said, I don't know how far off I am from the from the bottom of this conversation still. This has been the kind of the fun of the last 2 Saturday shows that we've done here. Let's see here. Dusty says, they say in the Pacific Northwest will be blistering hot this summer, so get the shade fabric ready. Yes, I know there's some spots in my garden that I've got to get another shade cloth for, so that I can kind of be prepared for. I've got an idea for one part that hopefully some of our pepper plants will be going into here in the next couple of weeks. As those little starts are ready to go, I'm just kind of, again, I'm still kind of iffy about whether or not I'm going to start jumping out and jumping ahead of my last frost date and starting to get some of these plants out. Tomatoes are already out and pretty much hardened off though too. I'm just trying to finish up one of my planting areas and getting that set up, which I should hopefully have done the next day or two. We'll have tomatoes all potted out, all planted out into the garden spaces. I'm already go on all of that. Starts look great, everything. Our little pepper starts are looking good. And again, on that though, is I do have a few other varieties. I had a bunch that I tried, but a few of them didn't work out that well for me. But I've got a handful of others that we're going to do, some sweet varieties that I'll mainly be growing. But we're going to be doing our Sugar Rush Peach as like our main crop, if you will. I mean, all over most of our space are going to be this variety of Sugar Rush Peach that I have, that I'm growing to grow down a certain trait, a pod trait on the Sugar Rush Peach, so that and what I'm going to do is, I'm going to, as soon as we get a pepper grown to ripening, I'm going to take that pepper and I'm going to harvest the seeds and I'm going to immediately dry them out. And I'm going to immediately grow them out and start another generation before we even finish up this season. I'll be starting a second generation of those again too. So I'm going to try to do generation on generation now for a few generations here, hopefully in the next season or two. So hopefully I can offer my own variety of the Sugar Rush Peach. It'll be called Sugar Rush Peach Puckered, and it's just kind of got this cool puckered bottom to them, and they make the kind of this really cool bell shape, which is kind of neat. And so hopefully those work out well, and that's kind of what I'm kind of moving on to for my pepper projects right now, versus growing so many different varieties. Eddie, somebody say hi. Hi, Eddie. Great to see you here. Rob's out of Peter Piper Pickle to Pickle Pepper. Love it. That's great. That's great. Let's see here. I'm just kind of wanting, let's see how, I know I'm so far here from, Dar says, I have a bunch of rhubarb you can grow in a 20-gallon container. I know. I really should get one of the big containers and just see if I can do it in that. Maybe you can send some my way. For sure. Or I'll find some. I'll find some for sure. But it's probably good. I should probably just go ahead and give it a try and see if I could do that in a big container. Let's see here. Rob says, I loved being with my dad on his allotment. Yeah, see, again, we all have these great garden stories. Maybe you can tell us about that story a little bit on the community show or something. Let's see here. Wickershire says, I have a new asparagus bed built 5 years. Too late this year. Hey, it's done. Slowly building up a nutrient subsoil base so I do not have to feed it. And we've been de-weeding hardcore lately. fun. Yes, me too. I'm in the same boat. With the weeding. I let things go. I just set myself up for a lot of just work, and that's what I've been working through. But we've got some stuff going and planting and doing stuff now too. So hopefully, again, I can do a better job this next year keeping on top of things so I don't make so much work of it, and I can do some of these other things I'd much rather be doing in the garden. Let's see here. Sean the Gardener says, wow, Alaska, I bet gardening was a challenge there. Yeah, very short growing season, similar like we have our friend Christopher Bransdahl who joins with us on the live streams every couple months from Norway, our friend from Norway. Similar like that, you're so far up north, you got a short, cold growing season, but she still grew stuff. It was really great to see. Again, I wish when I think back on it as I am now, and I listen to a lot of these garden stories, as I've mentioned, people talking about gardening with their grandparents and like Rob said, hanging out with his dad and doing that sort of stuff. My parents themselves weren't much of gardeners that I had the time or relationship with her in a sense too. That's a whole other big story. But so not the parents, but my grandmother. My grandmother had this garden. She had this gardening space, and I think back to it, and I look back on it. I just wish I'd paid attention more. It was one of those times that I was a teenager in high school, and I had all sorts of these other things going on. You know what I mean? And you look back, and you just really regret that I just wish I'd spent more time with her in this garden. I'll tell you one other thing about my grandmother that grew that garden in Alaska. She was one of the most amazing guitar players you'd ever seen in your life. She could play a guitar, little lady, little hands, but she could play a guitar, old country western music like you wouldn't believe. She used to get hired by old Hank Williams Sr., the old Hank Williams, Marty Robbins, some of these famous country musicians to play backup music and guitar and all that sort of stuff for them when they would come and visit the Pacific Northwest for some of the festivals and gigs that they would do. So way back in the day when she was really young, before she had to quit that whole thing. But yeah, amazing guitar player. Wish I'd paid attention to more of that too. Oh, we got growing with Stella. Stella, how are you doing? Awesome to have you here. Hello, hello. Good to see you here with us. Thanks for coming to hang out. We're just kind of chatting and I'm working my way through the conversation here. I don't know how far behind I am here. I'm a little bit. I mean, I didn't mention rhubarb too long ago, so hopefully I'm getting through this conversation here today for our show. We're just kind of having a little hangout. If you got any questions you'd like to ask me here, Stella, anybody else who want to ask me a question, this is a good opportunity to do that. Jay's also popping things up as well too there too. So if you got any questions or anything there too that pops up here, hopefully what we'll do is we'll have Jay pop those up if there's any current questions that are coming up from the point I'm saying this here too. So so I'm not missing out on or not catching up with your questions a little too late there and all that. But I really do appreciate it if you guys do have anything you want to ask, anything you want to know. I mean, this is a good time to get to know a little bit more about the host of the show. You know, these kind of little things that we get to do. Wickershire Project asks, how has the new mini computer holding up? Are we impressed, or is there odd glitching, or is this machine a beast? For the most part, really like it. And I only do the couple things with it that, you know, it runs all of our studio equipment stuff, you know, obviously our browser and stuff for the internet and connection to StreamYard and everything, but then our cameras and yeah, other than that, not running much, so it just running like crazy, doing really well. I will say there has been a couple of things that have kind of happened a couple of times that were just kind of weird. That just happened, but I wouldn't say it's anything that isn't weird that you wouldn't find with most any other computers or any other computer I've ever had, where it's just like, why did it do that? And then it doesn't do it. You don't ever see it again. That's kind of that thing. For the most part, it's been really amazing and really awesome. So again, Wickershire Project over there was the one who recommended, after we lost our computer last year during a big, massive electrical storm, got hit by lightning. I don't know if the place here got hit directly or if it was somewhere near, right next to us or something. But from what I understand, they say is that the lightning went right up all of our electrical cords throughout the whole place and fried up a bunch of stuff, all of our computers and everything. And yeah, so we had to replace everything, and we got this new computer, which is literally this big. It's literally this big. It's a little tiny box. I couldn't believe it when he recommended it. I was like, really? That's going to do the job? And no, it's really, really great. And I just can't imagine, I know there were a bunch of other like bigger and better and more powerful versions that were just small mini computers. And I just can't imagine how well any of those other ones would have done, seeing how well this one, just because it was a great price range as well too. It was perfect for the budget we were working with as we were doing some fundraising with everybody to be able to get things set back up and all of that. So yeah, and if you'd seen what my other computer looked like, it popped it like open. It was a laptop, so like right on the front edge of the laptop, popped open like it had a mouth. Like it was really crazy, just all the stuff that happened to it because of that electrical storm. So it was good to get the new computer, get everything set up. So I really appreciate that. Let's see here. Pac-Man says, I found a deal on Marketplace yesterday, 4 earth boxes for basically the price of 1. Promptly filled them with soil and planted peppers in them. Oh yes, especially good size earth boxes there with the kind of they have self irrigation, if you will. It's what we do with our their water wicking buckets. We do that with 5-gallon buckets. That's one of our bigger things we use as far as containers around all of our different garden spaces are these 5-gallon wicking buckets. And I believe the earth boxes are the same thing, like a water wicking thing. You'd have to maybe correct me if I'm wrong about that. But yeah, we also call those water wicking buckets earth buckets as well too. So we're on our way down. Let's see here. We could sure ask all these great questions. I love it. If you could pick a place in the world, a second home, where would you have your dream food forest patch? We'd love to live in southern Japan. I have half brother and half sister there. Oh, that would be amazing. No, I'm telling you that. Not even kidding. You just bringing that up would probably be a very close second or third for me on where I would really like to live. To tell you the truth, somewhere in New Zealand would be great. But to be more specific, to really tell you, it would probably be Australia. I love Australia. I say New Zealand because there isn't anything in New Zealand that's going to kill you. I mean, I don't even think they have snakes there, or spider. No, they have spider. I'm just one. There's just nothing in New Zealand that's going to kill you. You go just right across the way though, and you can visit Australia and be in Australia where everything can kill you. Or at least it just think of the deadliest anything, just anything. The deadliest jellyfish is in Australia. The deadliest spiders are in Australia. The deadliest snakes are in Australia. The deadliest bird, the what is it? I think cassowary, is that what it's called? Deadliest bird, Australia, all that sort of stuff. But I love Australia. Australia would be where, like, if I could have a nice chunk of land, a piece where I could really build, like you're talking about, a food forest, all sorts of different cool stuff, and try these different type of gardens that I've never been able to grow myself, that I get to hear from a lot of other folks and stuff, and try some different things. Maybe, live in a place like Mark does, where you get to grow lots of really great citrus, because I love citrus so much and all of that as well too. So Australia, and it could be almost anywhere on the whole big large continental island, of Australia, western, eastern. Uh, I guess I wouldn't say desert of Australia, but somewhere where I could really grow a food forest like that though too. I guess it would be the big thing, because I would want to grow and garden a lot. But and I like the way you phrase that too, because I would love it to be like a second home as well too, because one of my biggest dreams is this idea of chasing summers. I would love to chase summers, like to have a home and a place I could live here, and come here during the summertime. It's springtime is getting started, or we're right into spring and all of that. Start up my garden, get going, live through, into, fall, just as fall is getting started, head on down to Australia. You know what I mean? As spring is just getting going down there, and then boom, 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 do it all over again. And as fall's getting started in Australia, boom, head right back to spring here and do it again. If I could live the rest of my life like that, eh, sign me up. Sign me up. If anybody knows how I can get that done, without without the budget I think it would take to do that. Let's see here. Jay says, I spent about 7 weeks in Australia, and everything is trying to take you out in the bad way. I know. But I love, I've just always been fascinated with Australia. Totally fascinated with Australia. And it wasn't until, and I'll tell you, until really a big time. I love two of my biggest like pop culture things, I guess, in a way, are Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. Right? Oh, there you perfect comment. Wicker Bar, sorry, New Zealand has epic scenery, right? Lord of the Rings. I got into Lord of the Rings and learned so much, and got all those really special edition ones where they have all the, just take you through how they set up, where they were at in New Zealand, all the location stuff. It was just, and just getting to see all of that sort of stuff when I was younger, I was just like, oh man, would that be absolutely amazing and beautiful. But I've always still had this fascination with Australia, want to live in Australia and everything as well too. But on that level there too, just being a hop away from Australia in New Zealand would be kind of cool. But to live in a place that, again, that was one of the big things I learned about New Zealand back in those days, was that it has nothing that will kill you there. Sean says, "Win the lottery, you'll be okay." I know. I have played the lottery every now and then, thinking, "Oh, how cool would it be to win and do this?" And that's always been on my mind. That's exactly what I would do if I ever won the lottery. Was I would buy 2 places, one here, one there, and I'd have them set up completely so I could just garden year round and chase summers for the rest of my life. It would be the most amazing thing ever. Couldn't imagine a better life. Great questions, Wickershire. Thank you so much. I just really love that. That's just, see, these are the things I'm talking about, though, too. Ask me some questions. What are some cool questions that you want to know about me? Those are really great. Let's see here. Ramen Garden says, "My rhubarb at home is in a plastic half whiskey barrel pot and does fine over winter." In the pot, too, as well, right? Yeah. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I just got to get on it. Oh my gosh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Sorry, everybody. We are having a tragedy in the studio right as we speak, live on the air. Hopefully, are we still on? I can't see you. I can't see you if we're still on right now. Hopefully, that'll hold still. My shelf is collapsing right before my eyes, right here, live on the show. So I might have to call it here real quick here. Let me see here. I don't know what I'm going to do that. This might be where I might have to ask Jay. Jay, you don't have to come on, but everybody, I'm sorry, but I think I'm going to have to cut it short today. Let's come back tomorrow. Come hang out tomorrow for our Wickershire Project. No, Bowtie Life. Joining with us tomorrow, Mansfield, Missouri. I don't even know if I'm on right now, if I am or not, but come and join us tomorrow. And Jay, if you can cut me off, I don't have anything I can see.
Hey folks, sorry we had a technical problem there, and Enoch is not able to keep controlling the show. I think we're just going to cut it out there. Unfortunately, I can't take over as host because my vocal cords will only last a very short time. But I just want to remind you that tomorrow there's going to be 3 excellent shows, starting with Bowtie Life in the Garden doing his show. It'll be a live stream, and each of these 3 shows will be distinctly different. Then we're coming back here for 2 o'clock, which is our normal time in which Bowtie is running a show here with numerous guests. And then back to Bowtie again, and he's doing a panel show with his Coast to Coast people, so that each of these shows will be different. And I just want to thank you all for being here. Sorry we suddenly had a technical problem. We do thank you so much for your time and being here with us. And do come back tomorrow, same time, same channel for here. But do check out the Bowtie Lives before us and after us. And I'm just going to let us go here. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day, and I will see you again.